This is a federal agency that is supposed to tell us where's the autism coming from. This all happened under Tony Fauci's watch. When he came in 84, the chronic disease rate in our country was 12.8%. By 2006, it had gone up to 54%. Those are autoimmune diseases. Those are allergic diseases. That's right in his wheelhouse. That is his expertise. He's supposed to be an autoimmune expert. He does not spend a penny trying to figure out what environmental toxin and exposure is causing this epidemic of disease. Instead, he has transformed NIAID, his agency, into the primary incubator for the pharmaceutical industry for new products. So he creates the products, he sells it to them, he transfers it to them for very, very beneficial prices. And he walks it through the FDA approval process, which means then Medicare and Medicaid have to pay for that drug. He helps negotiate those deals and get beneficial deals with the drug companies. And then the money comes back to him and his staff through royalties. And so instead of researching and trying to stop all these chronic disease from happening to our children, he's ignoring all of that and simply essentially printing money. And let me tell you how important this is. In between 2009 and 2016, there were hundreds of drugs approved by FDA, and every single one of them came out of Tony Fauci's shop. So that is the impact he has had on the pharmaceutical industry. During his tenure, the chronic disease rate has gone from 12% to 54%. We now use more drugs than any country in the world. We pay the highest prices for those drugs, and the drug industry is now controlling our government. And Tony Fauci, the reason he's lasted there for 50 years is he's like a mix between Bernie Madoff, which we can see in this Moderna racket, and J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover lasted for 50 years. He's the only other guy who's lasted for 50 years as an agency head, because he was using that agency to benefit big shots, to make sure the mafia didn't get prosecuted, to make sure that dissidents, people he didn't like, would be spied on, like Martin Luther King and others, to bribe and blackmail, big shots, and files on everybody, and to make friends in big places. And Tony Fauci has played the same game. And you've seen what he did, how this is a Ponzi scheme, this Moderna vaccine. There's nobody in the world that would buy this vaccine if they knew what you and I know about it. It does not stop the disease. It has a huge injury rate. It does not stop transmissibility. And he has a $9 billion contract with the Pentagon for 500 million doses. How did he get that, by the way?
Well, but this is the thing, and this is where, would that the generation that preceded you still be around, where you could actually pick up the phone and call an AG and say, there's a crime. This is a crime, and I think we need to stop dancing around the edge of it and call it what it is. Anthony Fauci's behavior is racketeering. He controls the means of production. He allocates the market beneficiaries, to your point. He picks the winners and losers. That's an illegal thing to do. That's an antitrust thing to do. That's a criminal conspiracy. He is actually picking winners and losers. And then, just to add insult to injury, he's doing the price fixing, right? Think about what happens when you negotiate a price where you, in fact, are a vested interest in that negotiation. There's no public interest being served. This is a violation of his standard practice as a federal officer, because he's actually not acting in good faith. He is, in fact, price fixing. So you have the market allocation, a definition of antitrust. You have the interlocking directorate problem, which sounds sophisticated, but it isn't. He runs the shop on the organizations that declare the problem. He mysteriously always has the solution in hand. I mean, people need to know that we've got, COVID 2.0 on the books right now. Suddenly, polio is back. Suddenly, the threat of acute transverse myelitis is back. Suddenly, the threat of a whole bunch of other things that allegedly his 50 years at the helm of infectious disease managed, these are all coming back. And if you go back and you look at the patent record of his funded research, you realize he controls the pathogen. He then controls the means of detection and the means of therapy. And then he controls the price that it's going to get sold at. And he gets paid every step along the way.